This is Astro Hacking video part 2. If you didn't see part 1 and you don't know how to make this table that's in front of me, you should watch part 1. What is Astro Hacking? Astro Hacking is the art of being able to take any section of your chart, any section at all, and be that section. Your chart doesn't just have descriptions of you, it has descriptions of anything you can think of. It has descriptions of enemies, of the news, of some show you watched on Netflix, your pet, some distant star that just got discovered, some organization that you have opinions about. It's all in the chart. The thing is that, let's take the example that I just gave. Some organization that you have opinions about. Maybe you have opinions about Amazon. What do you think of Amazon? Amazon is XYZ. That character for Amazon is going to be found somewhere in this chart. And the reason is, well, there are lots of reasons. You'll have to read the first 2 chapters of Laurentia for a really technical explanation of why there's actually a science, there's actually statistics behind this, p-values, research, non-parametric test, word mining, wiki, pulling words and vocab, and stuff like that, word frequencies, binning. It's like, it gets crazy. There's a science to it. But in this particular recording, I just want to show you how to do it. If you want to know the science, read Laurentia. But the idea is that your opinion of Amazon doesn't just belong to Amazon. It's constrained by how you think. And so you're going to think of Amazon the same thing you thought of other Amazon-like entities that affect you in a certain way. So it turns out that your opinion of Amazon is not an opinion of Amazon. It's an opinion of a certain kind of group or organization that does a certain kind of thing to you. And you can find that opinion from you in your chart. In order to use any area of your chart, let's say this is you and this is Prime. This is Amazon Prime over here. But you're like, man, I want to be Amazon Prime. I want to be everywhere on everyone's doorstep. Okay, well, then you just need to know what asteroids live there. Keep this in mind. This is what astro hacking is. If you want to put on the hat of any section of your chart, you're going to have to do it with respect to the opposite character, and you're going to have to know that you are not doing the squares to it. And so any astro hack you're going to apply has to be done within the context of a grand cross. It's harder to just say, well, I'm going to behave more Libra-like and just get it to work. No, it doesn't work like that. What you do in order to really concentrate is say, I need to go find this Aries type person and deal with them. And no, I'm not in the mood to do this Cancer type or Capricorn type thing. So I must be doing my Libra stuff. I stay with it and give it, I've seen it to be 2 weeks. I don't know why it's 2 weeks, but I have theories. Let's just say give it 2 weeks of really, really concentrated wearing of the chart area, and you're going to start to see it. It won't be finished because other things in your world have to kind of line up, but it's about 2 weeks. So anyway, the trick is you need to know what asteroids live here, and you need to know the squares to them. So I haven't read a chart like this in a long time. These days, for like the last 3 years, most of the time, I read a chart like this. If someone says, hey, could you read my chart? I go into Excel, and I make one of these, and I copy this from my many files that have it in there, and I read their charts that way. Now, a thing that you're going to have to do is take this column and break it up, because this is text. We can't use this. So in this video, I'm going to tell you how to make this chart usable for astro hacking, because right now it's a little bit difficult. It's cute to see, oh, what lives in Cancer, but ultimately I don't know what to do with this, because it's everything. It's like the whole elephant all at once. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to break up this column and we're going to make it meaningful. Follow me here, because I'm going to move as quickly as I can. So first of all, I have this file. And again, if you don't know how I got to this file, watch the video before it. Let's go ahead and first of all, I'm going to take this filter off, because filters make me nervous while I'm trying to do this stuff in Excel. This is the column we want. I'm going to go here to column D, just click up there, and I'm going to select 4 columns and right click and insert, because I'm going to need space. Next thing I'm going to do is click this column, and then I'm going to go to text to columns. So I clicked up here, text to columns, it's under data, and I want it to be delimited. There's a character that I want to use to space this thing out. Go to next. We're going to space with spaces. See what it's going to do? It's going to put space right there. And then we're also going to use the tick mark right there. You know what? Well, no, let's do it this way. We're going to use the tick mark as well, and then finish. Yeah, I'm going to replace it, and that's why I put in those extra columns. There you go. So this is good. These double tick marks, we don't want them. So I'm going to click up here to column F, go home, find and select, replace this double tick mark with nothing. Replace all, get rid of it. Okay, it's gone. There. So this one here is the sign abbreviation. This one here is the, well, this is degrees, but specifically it's the sine degrees. So sine degree, because there's degrees around the whole wheel as well, up to 360. These just go up to 30. Sine degrees. Okay, these are sine minutes, and these are sine seconds. Okay. Now, the thing is that this is kind of decent, right? But we have to have a way to chop this thing up into manageable chunks. And right now, ARTA don't help us. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this. So I'm select this, copy it, Control C, and then I'm going to go to this sheet, right? Sheet 3, where I have my old stuff again from the previous video. And let's just go out here to column H and then paste it. No, let's not. No, let's not. Hold on. Let's make a new sheet because I'm about to make a mistake. First, let's just paste it here. Paste. You can't see what it did. There it is. And then I'm going to remove duplicates. Let's go to Data, Remove Duplicates. There. Now we just have all the different signs. So there's the sign abbreviation. And when you're ticking around the chart, it adds a certain number of degrees. If you're starting at Aries, it's just, Aries 5 degrees in Aries is just 5 degrees around the chart. 5 degrees in Taurus is 35 degrees around the chart. So you have to put in here how much is added. I'm going to call this sine plus. Aries adds 0. Taurus adds 30. Gemini adds 60. And we get the idea. I'm going to select these 3 and I'm going to double click. Double clicking lets you flood the pattern in Excel. So there you go. Pisces adds 330. So if I'm in Pisces 29 degrees, I'm almost done. It's 359 degrees around the wheel. We need this. The other thing that we need is to treat this as a table. Format as table. And yes, my table has headers. The color didn't matter. And then this has to be alphabetical order. I learned this the hard way. There you go. So I sorted A to Z. I don't need this extra line. I'm just going to delete it. There you go. So this table should have a name. What name is it? Let's go to table design and find out. Table 2. No. Let's call this sine plus. Okay. Sine plus table. Let's give it our own name so we can know what's happening. Now, I'm going to go back to my chart, and I need to translate this into something that actually gets added. So I will click on column E, right-click, insert, and then sine plus equals our friend VLOOKUP. The lookup value will be this guy. The table array will be sine plus table. And the column that I want to spit out is the second column. The first one had the abbreviation, the second one had the math that I'm adding. So it's the second column. Okay, I'm done. Add 0. Double click this to flood it. This little anchor down here, this little corner, double click. Boom. And now let's make sure it worked. Oh, we're in Taurus, we're adding 30. All right, we're adding 60 in Gemini, and so on and so forth. Control down arrow to make sure it went all the way down. All right, we win. Okay, so I hit control up arrow. The next thing I want to do is figure out where in the whole wheel these things are. If you were at 0 degrees Aries, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you are 0 degrees, 2 minutes and 30 seconds around the whole wheel. But if you were that in Taurus, you'd be 30 degrees, 30 minutes and 30 seconds around the wheel. And we want to put this as a decimal. Here's the formula. The formula is for, I'm just going to call it abs degree. This is the absolute degree. Okay. And it equals the sine degree plus the sign that we're in. This is why we needed that. Plus the minutes divided by 60, because they're minutes, right? Plus the seconds divided by 3,600. That's the formula. Boom. That's the decimal that we're around the wheel. Go to the corner, this little anchor here, flood it. Yeah. While this is selected, I'm gonna reduce the number of decimals here. There we go. That's good. Well, that's good enough. Make sure it went all the way down. All right, look, 29 Pisces. Okay, so at this point we have the whole decimal degree around the wheel, and we're almost to the two things that we need. We need the duodecanate within the whole wheel, and then we need the duodecanate within the sign. Let me show you what I mean by that. There are two things that we need to know about using a little 1/12 slice of a 30-degree sign. Signs are 30 degrees. If we divide them into 12, 2.5 is the width of in each of these mini signs in here. And because our degrees are going from 0 to 360, but our duodecanates are going from 0 to 144, we're going to have to do some math on it. We're going to need to know a couple of things. 1 through 12 here, 1 through 12 here, 1 through 12 here. And we're also going to need to know 1 through 12 here, 13 through 24 here, 25 through 36 here, 37 through 48 here, and all the way through 144. Those are the two columns that we need, 12s and the 144s. So let's make those now. You'll see where this is going. I mean, you totally need this in order to do astrohacking, at least do it easily. Okay, so I'm going to insert right here and here, starting at this RX column, whether it's retrograde, right click, insert. Okay, we have two more columns. We need one for the duodecanate. We also need one for the grand cross that it's in. Oh no, you know what, we're gonna need three. But we're gonna take the duodecanate, and then we're gonna take the sign duodecanate, and then we'll do the grand cross later. Okay, so the duodecanate is the one that goes out of 144 totally. Sign duodecanate is the one that's out of 12. Here's how it works. You know, ultimately, Pisces, this last one, we go down. This is duodecanate 1, right? So what we'll do is say equals 360 minus whatever this is. Let's just start like that so we can see what it is. So that's cool. But what this does is it inverts our stuff. Now, we've taken 360 minus this. and we want to scale it to 144 instead of 360. If your max range is 360, then you divide it by 360, but then you multiply by 144. So let's go back to this formula, put it in parentheses, scale it down by dividing by 360, and then scale it back up times 144, right? So that's what I put in there. Okay, this here is the formula. I wish you could see that. Hold on. That's the formula. See that right there? Okay, so it's 360 minus whatever your last row was, the Pisces row, divided by 360 times 144. Okay, so now this tells you basically which duodecanate you're in. We can round this, by the way, and I'm going to go ahead and just round it up. Because it's duodecanate 1, I'm not starting with 0. So let's go to round, put that there, and the number of digits, we don't want any decimal digits. So at the end, I'll put a comma 0. And there you go. Oh, what the, what? It's because it's round up. I messed up. Round up. Okay, 1. Here's the formula. Let's go back over here. Make sure you can see that formula. Round up. There. Okay. Good. This is what we want. So I'm going to copy this, Control C, and then I'm going to say Control Shift up to go all the way up. And then I'm going to push Shift while I'm holding Shift, push down, and then put Control V to paste the whole thing. All right? There it is. Control V, I pasted. Now, I don't want any decimals here because these are whole numbers. This is my duodecanate. Very nice. Very nice. So I know off the top of my head that duodecanate 15 is Aquarius 3. There you go. It's Aquarius 3. Right? See that? 23 degrees Aquarius. 1, 2, 3. Right? So there it is. Closer to 20 degrees Aquarius would be Aquarius 4. And that's these guys. But now, see, this is the absolute number of duodecanates. I said Aquarius 3. There should be a 3 here. So what I'll do, since I've done this successfully the first time, is take this formula up at the top and copy it. I'm just going to, but I have to copy from this bar. Control C, escape. Please hit escape. Don't butcher your formula. Go in here, double click it, so make sure you're editing. Paste it. And for right now, we'll just leave it. Okay, it's a clone. But it's going to keep being divided by 12. And so you really want to take this formula and you want to modulo or get the remainder by 12. So here's how we'll do it. We're just going to do mod around this. So I'm going to put a mod. That means we're taking a remainder. And I'm going to wrap it around this guy, and the divisor will be 12. Okay. And here's the formula. That's what I did. Oh, wow, my window's all messed up. I should not have let go of my editing software. Wow, I've screwed this up. Hold on, let me scroll this thing back to humanity here. Never let go of the button. All right, so anyway, let's go back over here. Double click and flood it. Neat. Okay, so we have duodecanate 1, 2, 3, all the way to 12. It's saying 0. This happens a lot, right? When you're modding, it's never going to give you 12. So I'm going to fix that because it irks me. I mean, you'll know what it is, but it bothers me. So what I'm going to do is put this in an if statement. I wish I could make the font bigger on this formula bar, but I can't. So here's what we'll do. We'll copy this whole mod because we're lazy, but not the equals. Control C. And then I'm going to wrap it in an if. If, and then parentheses, this thing here equals 0, then comma, make it 12 instead. Otherwise, comma, paste, make it what it is. Close the parentheses, boom. Now it says 12. It says 12, but everybody else, like the 11s, stay the way they are. Double click this little anchor down here to flood the formula, and you will not see those zeros again. So they're not there, right? 12s are there instead because of the if statement. Very good, very nice. I'm going to take my column. I'm just control jumping down. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to. But I'm making whole numbers. There, all right, we win. So you notice what's happening, right? This is Aquarius 3, but it's the 15th total duodecanate all the way around. We're almost done. Bear with me here. We're almost done to where we have an Astrohack table. Let me remind you why we're doing this. The reason we're doing this is because if you found you wanted to, say, enact this group, your Cancer 2s, roughly associated with nurturance. If you really wanted to be, I don't know, second to somebody, you wanted to serve somebody, Prisca, then you would not only need to know Cancer 2, you'd have to know its opposition in Capricorn 2, and you'd have to know its squares in Aries and Libra 2, and to help you wear the Cancer 2 hat, you'd have to find whatever asteroids are in Capricorn 2 and interact with it. And when you are doing the interacting, you would interact according to these interpretations. This is how you would come across. But you would note that you couldn't do the squares. Okay, so that's why we're using this table, because we're using it to tell ourselves what behaviors and what people and events and stuff we're looking for when we astrohack. Now, I got almost all of it. I'm going to scroll all the way up. And I found that I had the sign duodecanate, but what I really need to astrohack is the Grand Cross. So let's go to K, right click, insert one more time. This will be quicker because we already have the formula. Grand Cross. Because we divided by 12 in this one, Grand Cross is just divided by 36, because out of 144, there's 0 through 36, 37 through 72, 73 through 108, 109 through 144, and they make their little square families. So this one is really easy to do. Go into your sign duodecanate formula. Let me show you what that looks like again. Go into here. Copy it. Even the equals. Yes, the equals. Control C. Escape. Double click in here. Don't just click on it. You're going to mess things up. So double click in here. Make sure your cursor's blinking. And then paste the whole thing you just copied. And instead of dividing by 12, divide by 36. 36 here. 36 there. 36 there. That's it. All right. This is Grand Cross number 36. Flood it. Click on that little anchor and double click. Boom. Grand Cross number 32. Grand Cross number 31. And so on and so forth. This is exactly what we need. This is an Astrohack table. We've made it. So you're like, oh, what? Okay, what do I do with this? Click up here. Go to Data. Turn on the filter. And let's turn off everything that we don't normally use for the hacking. We're not going to really need this old stuff with sine, degree, and whatever. I mean, I guess, you know, I guess we could do sine plus, but I'm just going to hide these. And these, you could kind of go home and tilt them like that. And see if I can get some. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Okay, I'm trying to double click to get some better resizing here, but it's not going the way I want. So I'm just gonna select these and squish them a bit. I don't normally need retrograde declination speed or what it is or its distance, so I'm just gonna hide these. And you know, I find that these are actually kind of informative, so I leave them. But you don't really need these either, unless you just want to know the old school signs. It helps, so we'll leave it. But I won't do. I won't do these. They're taking up space. Sign minute and sign second. Hide those. Okay, so now we've got some good interpretations here. Let's say you're looking for what's a good one? Family. You want to just have a good family, or you want to know what's wrong with your family. The family asteroid, like the centerpiece, is El Dejere. I call it El Dejere. It's El Jazir. But let's see if we can find it. Control F, family. I knew it. Okay, see, this is what happens when you have formulas here instead of actual stuff, and that's why we took the formulas out earlier. Don't worry about it. Your table has the real deal. Control F, family. Eagle probably has something. Insane casting family. Nah. Bohemia. No, Tantalus family. That's not what we want. Next. Disa. Consuming items for the family, thinking about, oh, Disa is a new one. 1319, it's past 1,000. There it is. This is the family one, right? What family does to reinforce their connectedness to you. See, it's 858, El Jazir. So I'll go over here and I'll look for 858. Control F. 858. Here it is. You see where it is? It's in Taurus. So it's in 10 Taurus. And now, here's the usefulness of the Astrohack table. It's in duodecanate 128. And so, as long as you filter this for 128, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go up here and freeze this pane. I'll click here, View, Freeze Panes. Okay, now I can scroll to my heart's content. I don't have to worry about this other stuff. Just hide these guys. Okay, there. Can scroll sideways, and not lose my stuff. So El Jazir was in 128. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to filter 128. And apparently, if this were my chart, this is what my family's about. Wow, man, my emotions are tied to my family. But my family may be ruthless. So these are the guys. This, by the way, is 92Q. I've referred to it in the book before. It had a name, Albion. It was called 1992 QB1 in my previous books. This one, but now it's called Albion. So that's just something to note. This is 92Q. So I have to note that. Let me change it because my interpretation is old. Escape. Go to my chart. Paste. Ooh, no. See, the Excel's trying to get fancy on me. Click in there. Paste. Get out. Support attractor. Okay. So my family attracts support for its ruthlessness. Whatever. But let's say that I really wanted to emphasize this. Like I'm just having trouble. Or I wanted to understand why my family doesn't work. Let's unfilter the duodecanate 128, clear the filter, and instead pick its Grand Cross. I unfortunately forgot the Grand Cross, so let's look for it. Grand Cross 20. Okay, so we're going to turn on Grand Cross 20. And here's what we have. Now pay attention to this because it tells you several things. Grand Cross 20 means your Taurus is opposite you're Scorpio. So my family here in this hypothetical chart has these characteristics, and they do it against a context, against a world which has these Scorpio characteristics right here, right? So we're always interacting with people who are celebrated, who don't play around, and all that other stuff. They draw crowds, and maybe I'm some kind of famous person, but my family is ruthless in the background. Well, now I can understand it. But while my family's doing what it's doing, it has a hard time doing the squares to it. Italia, or these guys. Now that I know what the Grand Cross looks like, I can take this entire family and pick any one of the hats and consciously say, I don't want to do Leo Aquarius stuff, or I can't do Leo Aquarius stuff, and I must do Taurus stuff that looks like this against interactants that look like this. That's how you astrohack. I'm telling you, this works. It works. In fact, the reason I started doing this is because it worked before I started doing this, and I had to understand it. And in seeking to understand it, I wrote the second two books. And then the fifth book in the Full Spectrum Astrology series, Alma Mater, actually tells you how to do this, and it has the tables as well. The other thing that Alma Mater has is what these signs each talk about. So duodecanate 56, you can get some of the meaning in 144, but really Alma Mater has two versions of the table that tell you what duodecanate 56 is always responsible for. Okay, this is the beginning of an astrohack chart. I think with this, you can, at the very least, even if you didn't understand anything I said, at the very least, you can look at what asteroids travel together. You say, well, shoot, what's my midheaven? What's my midheaven look like? How do people see my reputation? House, wait a minute. Let me unfilter this Grand Cross. What does my reputation look like? House 10. Duodecanate number 100 is the cluster that it comes in. Clear this and put in duodecanate 100. There you go. Instant chart interpretation. This is everything that is up against your midheaven. All right. Have fun with this.